Mark 9. After 6 days, Jesus took Peter, James, and John with him and led them up a high mountain where they were all alone. Then he was transfigured before them. His clothes became dazzling white, whiter than anyone in the world could bleach them. And there appeared before them Elijah and Moses, who were talking with Jesus. Peter said to Jesus, "Rabbi, it is good for us to be here. Let us put up 3 shelters, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." He did not know what to say. They were so frightened. Then a cloud appeared and covered them, and a voice came from the cloud. "This is my son, whom I love. Listen to him." Suddenly, when they looked around, they no longer saw anyone with them except Jesus. As they were coming down the mountain, Jesus gave them orders not to tell anyone what they had seen.
Who helped to start Collective, helped to start Collective Cares, helped to get the entire project of renting the back space and sort of the idea of serving the autism community and their parents. So I just thought you should get to know her. She's obviously not around. You probably haven't seen her around here much, but that's where we come from. And part of what we're going to talk about tonight is sort of when we've experienced the sweet spot in our time with Collective. And part of what I wanted to show is that even though Amy is not around and really participating, that there was a sweet spot and that helped to shape what we now know as Collective. That happened before many of us were here. But those things coming together paved the way for what would come after. So just sort of keep that in mind. That's sort of what we're gonna talk about tonight. When things clicked, when there was a sweet spot, when like in the text we read, like Peter, when you've had that moment, that day, that season where you went, God, I wish this moment could go on forever. This is who I am. This is what I'm meant to do in life. This is where I'm supposed to be, the people I'm supposed to be with. We're in the season where we're sort of crowdsourcing our future. We're coming up with a more honed and focused vision the way that Collective does, by asking questions. Every week for the next 5 weeks, we started last week, got tons of good feedback, and the point is to orient ourselves for the next leg of the journey. So we're going to sort of build this compass together by asking all these questions and then orient wherever it is that we're going. And we don't know yet because we're still in the process of asking. And to get this vision, we have to ask this group of people. We are Collective. I'm not Collective, not Brain Trust, not the Methodist Church. We are Collective. So only we, and that's those in the room, the people online, Peggy and John, shout out to you guys who tuned in live. Those who will join us in a couple weeks for Sunday Soul Brunch, the people that participate in different community groups but may rarely or never come in this room. Those who attend, those who benefit from, those who connect with, those who participate in the broader dispersed life of Collective, whatever that is, however they consider themselves involved, however they do, we, all of us, are invited to contribute to charting this way forward. And this is about alignment. It's not about getting the right answer. And we have to keep saying that. The goal at the end of like the 6 or 7 weeks is not that we arrive with like a statement and then we're like, that's it. We have the answer. And now we sort of just know what to do. It's about alignment. One of my mentors used to say, he'd grab a straw. We'd be at lunch or something. And he'd grab a straw and he'd go, this straw can only hold a few drops of the ocean. But if this straw is rightly aligned, the entire ocean can flow through it. The vision season isn't about hacking a magic secret to hold the ocean of God or the sacred or the spirit, peace, unconditional love, belonging, grace. This season is about us getting rightly aligned so that all of those good things can flow through us. We know we can't, and it's futile to try to hold it, but we can try to be aligned so that those good things can flow through us. And if you get nothing else from the series, I want to remind you of this. Because maybe you're hesitant because you don't feel like you'll see your contribution to the vision, or you don't think that you'll feel like you've fully participated. Maybe you don't feel like you have anything unique or important to add. Maybe you're one of those people who I just come and sit in the room, right? I don't really give anything. I don't contribute anything. Maybe you feel alone. And maybe part of the reason that you keep coming into this room every Sunday is so that you don't feel alone. And I think you need to hear this not only from up front on the platform, but I think you need to see it practiced in the room every week and to see it practiced, especially in seasons like this, where there are these huge, monumental questions about our vision and our future and our focus. You need to be reminded of this. You are worthy of love. You are worthy of community, the people sitting around you. You are worthy of unconditional belonging. You are worthy of being listened to. And that may not be something people tell you very often, but you are. You're worthy of being listened to. This season reminds each of us that no one voice is more important than the chorus of voices. Those who will never be turned away. Every voice matters. And so in this season, we ask you, where are we going? What should be our focus? How should we be faithful with the time and the money and the passion and the creativity and the generosity with which you fill this thing called Collective day in, day out, week in, week out? Tell us. Please tell us we're listening. That's the whole point of this. And ask us, because we're wide open. Transparency is one of our core values. So if you've been sort of in and out for any sort of chunk of the last several months, you probably have questions. Even if you've been here every week and you've heard everything that's been communicated, you probably have even more questions. So probably every other week or every third week, what we're going to do is at the end of the service on Sunday, David is going to meet you back by the back bar. Anyone who has any questions, we're going to get a group together, we're going to go into the lounge and just open Q&A. Anything you're curious about property, about vision, about membership, about money, about the pledge drive, whatever, any questions, nothing's off limits. If you feel like you just want to know more, you've got questions, thank God I'm not going to be the one to answer them. David will be the one to answer those questions. It's a new day. Really, though, I will come and sit in. So come and talk to us, and we'd love to chat with you. So we're in this season of asking questions and listening. And so probably where we should start is here. This is what you've said so far. We asked last week, basically, why did you come to Collective? What was the unique experience of God that you had at Collective? And then why do you stay? And this is what you guys said. That's the wordle. And by the way, with every word up there, there are still 168 words that did not make it in the wordle. So if you don't see your particular thing, it's there. It's just probably hidden behind other words. If you're having a hard time reading that, the top results, this is what you said. Why did you come? What was unique? Why did you stay? Acceptance, openness, community, love, discussion, meditation, LGBTQ community, inclusion. There were lots of different things wrapped up with that community, but the inclusion of the LGBT community and everything we do came up in the answer to every single question. Affirming, doubt, silence, funny. So many people mentioned humor. That was one of the things that caught me off guard. I was like, that's great. People take themselves seriously, but not too seriously. We can work with that. Discussion, God, welcome. Now, these are things that came up as answers to every single one of the questions. So the ones before were just the top responses. These showed up in every question. Why did you come? What was unique? Why did you stay? For the people. Duh. Right? We're here for the people. Openness, non-judgmental and accepting environment. For community is the questions. And love. There's no one above the people in this room who's making this up. Right? This is you all. We asked, and this is what you said. This is what Collective is. To the people who chose to respond. I think we had almost 100 responses, 98 or something like that, which is pretty good percentage-wise. I think we can do more. But so tonight, what we need to hear from you about is when it clicked. When was that season, that moment, the sweet spot, when you found yourself on that sort of mountaintop, so to speak, in that sweet spot? And we'll get to Collective in a minute, like Amy's story where it all clicked after this. She's had this sort of hellacious life of it not clicking. So we'll get to Collective in a minute, but first, I want to ask you each to individually just connect emotionally and narratively to your own story. When have you felt this? When have you lived this? The moment, day, or season when you experienced a sweet spot? At Occupy, we came up with a helpful list, and let's keep in mind that all language is metaphor. So this isn't science, this isn't data, but maybe this poetry can help you connect. When have you experienced sweet spot, when it clicked? This is also maybe called a flow state. When have you experienced centeredness? Somebody said effortlessness. When have you experienced the ability to just sit and smile? Unitive consciousness. When have you experienced hitting a stride? The open sharing of hearts, one with another. When have you experienced non-anxious presence? When have you experienced your true self? Somebody said, behind the veil, and somebody else went, wait, what about no veil? So yeah, oneness, the connection of all things. When have you experienced surrender, harmony, an experience of the genuine, the authentic? What we're getting at is this sense. I wish this moment could go on forever. This is what I was made to do. I'm so fully alive. I'm the king of the world. This is the moment. We're looking for this, right? So if you're wondering, that we're getting at what is the sweet spot in your life. I'm going to scrap it all and start over. I'm not good enough with computers to get Clarence back, so fair enough. Well done. Did you see the humor feedback? Clarence was in the back with all the sheets. Humor. Yeah, you got to. All right, so all of that to say, do you know what I'm talking about when I say the sweet spot in your life? Do you know what I'm talking about when I say the sweet spot in your life? Is there okay, well, prove it. Just shout some out very quickly. 5 seconds, 10 seconds. Sweet spot, what was it? When was it? Ice cream. Awesome. Yes.
Ice cream.
Ice cream, okay. Sorry, I didn't know that was you. Ice cream.
First time.
First time what? Here. Okay, so not specifically collective, but just in your life, anything at all. Caroline.
When I realized that me and Clarence like pranking me.
Like what?
When I realized that me and Clarence both like pranking me.
Oh gosh, the realization that she's with Clarence on pranking me. What about how many of you have had a kid? Okay, were there some sweet spot moments around? Or you got a new job and it was the honeymoon phase when everything was perfect and it was never going to suck. It wasn't even going to be work, you were just going to love it. Okay, so there was so stuff like that. Any others? Sweet spot? I want to make sure we're because if you don't get this, none of the rest is going to make sense. Bill.
Meditative walk in the woods in DeLeon Spring.
Okay, so a meditative walk in the woods in DeLeon Springs. Yeah.
I achieved a long wanted educational goal.
Okay, achieving an educational goal. Yeah, Dan.
When I realized I didn't have to do everything myself and I could ask for help.
Wow. Okay.
I always thought it was just me.
Dave wants to know how you learned that. Time. Yeah.
It only took me 65 years.
He's living in that sweet spot right now. He's just realized that. Melanie.
When we found DeLand, it kind of felt like everything else in our life just kind of fell into place.
Okay, it all clicked. The stars aligned. Yeah, Dave.
Conversation at a coffee shop, being honest about my mental health for the first time.
Okay, so a conversation in which you could be honest about your mental health for the first time. Yeah. Yeah. I think the first time I sat in a meeting and I said, my name is Ben and I'm an alcoholic, that was a big deal. That was a significant moment, for sure. Jen, and then...
When your kid does something amazing, in kind, unprompted, and unscripted, and all of a sudden you say, oh my God, it's working.
It worked, yes. Yes, right. Well, happy you get that twice during childhood. It's working. Yeah, sure.
Music with other people.
There it is. Thank you. Playing music with other people. Yeah. If you've ever played in a band or an orchestra or any kind of group, and we're going to get into this more, but there's the sum of the component parts, and then there's you drop into a zone, and it's you're breathing together, you're emotionally connected together, you don't even have to look at each other. There's it's a flow state. It's this seamlessness. Really awesome. Okay, good. So we get that, sort of, some of you. You can jump. Yeah, John. when I finally got somebody to come to church. Awesome, cool. Y'all could learn something from John. So now, what I need for the feedback tonight is this. When you've experienced this in or with or as collective, when you've